So this section is about temperaments. Now, temperaments can also be described as your nature because a lot of our temperament, we actually born with it. So temperament, if you think about different people or if you have, more than one child, one of your children might be really laid back and slow and take it easy. Another child might be really hyper and highly strung. One might be very social, the other one might be very antisocial. So temperaments comprise what we are born with, as I just said, with the nature, because that is something we're usually born with, and often we inherit it from our families. But it also comprises a person's personality, and personality, which is the next section, which is what how you express yourself. Temperament is also what makes up your temperament is character, which is based on your values and your morals and your outlook on life. And how we react is based on our beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions. So there's a lot that makes up the way somebody is. And I like to look at it that way because the way, it's their nature, it's their overall way that they handle life and that they move through life, because it's also what they focused on more and the pace that they move through life. So you'll see that there's two assessments that will show you what your temperament is and give you an understanding and a description of it. So just looking at those assessments, so for instance, the one is about pace, as I said. So some people move really slow through life, other people are really fast. Some people are more focused on relationships and people, other people are focused more on tasks. So I'll give you a couple of ideas here. So if somebody who has a slower pace, we obviously want to be respectful of that, accepting of that, and empathetic of that. And just like if you have a faster pace, you kind of want to be treated with the same amount of respect so that you can compromise on that. Now, and specifically if it's in the home. I know that when my kids were growing up, my daughter was a slower pace, my son was a very fast pace, and she used to get completely and totally stressed out if I used to hurry her up, because I've always had a very fast pace. So what I had to learn to do with her was I would have to say to her, okay, right, we're leaving in an hour's time. Whereas before, because my son and I were both fast paced, I could just say to him, come on then, let's go. We're going to the shop, or we're going to the restaurant, or we're going to the beach, or whatever. And we would be ready within 5 or 10 minutes and in the car, where she would become totally anxious, very stressed out because she wasn't given enough notice. So very important to be able to deal with people who are slower pace, because that's just the way they work. That's the way their brains are. And you want to give them a little bit of notice. And so it's just being aware of your different pace and the pace of the people in your life so that you can adapt accordingly. So we also have something called a different focus, and some children are very social and they're very focused on friendships and playing with other people and being part of things and part of groups. And then you'll find some children and people who are very more focused on tasks. Now, engineers, auditors, people who work with numbers and structures are more focused on the task than on people. Now, what that means is that the task is more important to them. So they often don't have really good social skills, whereas people who are more focused on people don't always pay attention to the task at hand. So, if you've got a big family, or if you work with a group of children, or if you're a teacher, the people that are focused on people are the ones that are always talking in the classroom. They're always laughing. They forget about their homework. And people who are more task orientated are those that they've got their heads in their books. They do really good marks. They're really focused on doing their task well, but they don't always have great social skills and great relationships with everybody else. And this comes down to their personalities and their brain profiles, which I'll get into a little bit more in the next section in personalities. But so go ahead and do those different assessments and do them with your family as well, because it's really enlightening when you discover what your pace is, what your children, your spouse's pace is, if you don't know that by now, and then just to make concessions and become a little bit more adaptable So once you know what your family's temperaments are, it just once again gives you that awareness and understanding of how different we all are from each other.